Good afternoon, everybody. We are very excited to be here. My name is Kathleen Hoolihan, and I am one of the nutrition education coordinators at the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, and this is...
My name is Belén Rogers, and I am the other nutrition education coordinator at the Food Bank.
And today we are here to talk to you about empowering the next generation with nutrition education through our Kids Cafe Toolkit. You can pop to the next slide. Thank you. So the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina is a hunger relief nonprofit organization supporting and nourishing communities across 34 counties in our state. So across our service area, we have 6 branches that work with a network of partner agencies to help get food out into our communities. So those partner agencies can be food pantries, soup kitchens, homeless shelters, after-school kids programs like our Kids Cafe agencies, which we'll be talking to you about today. You can go to the next slide, sorry. So our Kids Cafe partners are our after-school programs, and they focus on things like academic enrichment, mentoring, nutrition education, and physical activities, which is where we come in, nutritious meals, as well as parental empowerment. And so we wanted to provide an all-encompassing, easy-to-use, flexible toolkit so that our agencies could feel confident in teaching nutrition education to their students. When designing this toolkit, we kept in mind that the fact that all of our agencies have different capacities, whether it's time, whether it's storage, staffing, even cooking equipment. And so we wanted to design it so that it had mix and match options so that each agency could pick and choose what works best for them, their students, as well as their space. And so the toolkit is also meant to provide age-appropriate nutrition education delivery, as well as education resources, with a step-by-step guide to empower successful education delivery with just one single binder. So this is our toolkit in all of its glory. And so the toolkit was initially meant for our after-school kids programs, our kids cafes, but it is available to any agencies that work with kids. It was written to assist those agencies with on-site delivery of nutrition education, but we quickly learned that it can be used for a much broader audience, including our Healthy Pantry program, community groups that have summer camps or other summer programs, or other organizations that work with kids. With just a quick look at our table of contents, you can see the variety of lessons that we've included. And so we base those lessons off of the USDA's MyPlate, so there are the 5 sections. And within each of those sections, we have broken it down into 3 lessons that have different focuses. Like we mentioned earlier, we wanted this toolkit to be accessible in a way that anyone could pick it up, no nutrition background needed, and be able to quickly conduct a lesson. So this is going to be the first page of the lesson, and you can see just from a quick glance, a really quick snapshot of what the lesson is going to be about. So it's got the objective, the time needed, the lesson overview, materials needed, and the materials needed if you're going to be holding the cooking demo or tasting that day. And then at the bottom of every lesson on this front page, we included a video component just because we realized that it is 2023, and that is how a lot of families and how a lot of kids are learning these days. And so we wanted to be able to include that, whether or not they use it in the lesson itself, whether or not they email it out to parents and guardians, and it can also just be posted on social media. The bulk of each lesson is going to be under the action steps. And this is where the educator will talk about the topic of that day's lesson. So this, what we have up here, is an example of a vegetable lesson. And as you can see, we have written prompts and statements for the educator so they know exactly what to do and when to do it, whether it's today we are going to be talking about vegetables, or share with students this, or pass out to students that. And so we wanted to make it as easy as possible for the educator. They are obviously more than welcome to tailor it to whatever works for them, but we wanted to provide these easy to understand steps so that they had somewhere to start.
So each lesson has optional physical activities, worksheets, and games. Like Kathleen said, agencies have different capacities, so we set up the toolkit so that the lessons can be done in their most basic form with minimal supplies, or agencies can do all the activities with the cooking demonstrations and the tastings. Children might not have the longest attention spans, so we did a lot of interactive activities. In the picture that you see on the screen, a child is using all of 5 senses to describe dry beans and herbs like rosemary, oregano, and sage. And then we're going to go through one of these worksheets with you here today. So this is one of my favorite activities in the worksheet, and today we're just going to be comparing a red apple and a yellow apple. And in this scenario, Kathleen will be the educator and I will be the student.
Awesome. Good afternoon, class. My name is Miss Kathleen, and today we are going to do some sensory exploration with apples. Can I get a show of hands from my students today? Have you guys ever seen a red apple? Raise your hand if you've seen a red apple. Amazing. And also, if you've ever seen a yellow or a green apple, let's raise our hands up real high. Beautiful. And so today, my student, Miss Belén, has some apples today. Belén, can you do me a favor and tell me what that apple sounds like? Give it a good tap. What's the noise that you get?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it sounds hollow. So I'd write hollow in my sheet, and then I'd fill out the rest of the worksheet. And then you can see one of the children who had done this activity before described the sound as crunching or crushing, depending on how you read handwriting. Okay, so next slide. So being a nutrition education toolkit, we wanted to have a tasting or demonstration option. Agencies, again, can skip this altogether, or they can do all of these. We provided a wide variety of recipes, so from yogurt dips to turkey tacos to do-it-yourself food group skewers. And in this picture here, we have a cranberry apple oatmeal that we tasted out as one of the activities, and every child at least tried it when we did this tasting.
Did they all like it? Not so much.
But they tried it.
They did, which is
They tried it.
huge.
Next slide. So we provided recipes in both English and Spanish, and we're working on translating the entire toolkit to Spanish. Next slide. So we hope that children will develop a relationship with food outside of just nutrition through these lessons, and we hope that they associate food with friendship and fun by doing these. Recognizing food's effect on overall health and well-being is really important for children, and it's also part of the food bank's mission to nourish people, build solutions, and empower communities. Next slide. So thank you for being here today, and we have the actual toolkit with us, so please come by and ask if you have any questions. Thank you.